of Europe. You won't want to miss number 1, so stay till the end. Kindly subscribe and click the bell button. It's not always easy to be the owner of the biggest house in the country. Imagine how long it would take you to paint all the rooms or do the gardening. In addition, you will never have the opportunity to redecorate, as everything should remain as it was at the time of the past. Discover the sumptuous palaces where the royal families live. Book your activities in Europe and your apartment or hotels at the best prices. Enjoy your trip and escape to Europe with European best destinations as often as possible. Number 1. Buckingham Palace, the United Kingdom. Buckingham Palace has 775 rooms. These include 19 staterooms, 52 royal and guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, and 78 bathrooms. In measurements, the building is 108 meters long across the front, 120 meters deep, including the central quadrangle, and 24 meters high. The palace is very much a working building and the centerpiece of Britain's constitutional monarchy. It houses the offices of those who support the day-to-day activities and duties of the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh and their immediate family. The palace is also a venue for great royal ceremonies, state visits, and investitures, all of which are organized by the royal household. Number 2. The Palanco Real, Spain. The Palanco Real de Madrid, literally the Royal Palace of Madrid, is the official residence of the Spanish royal family at the city of Madrid, but it is only used for state ceremonies. King Juan Carlos and the royal family do not reside in the palace, choosing instead a more modest Palanco de la Zarzuela on the outskirts of Madrid. The palace is owned by the Spanish state and administered by the Patrimonio Nacional, a public agency of the Ministry of the Presidency. The palace is located on Calle de Belín Street in the western part of downtown Madrid, east of the Manzanares River, and is accessible from the Aparo metro station. Several rooms in the palace are regularly open to the public, except during state functions. An administration fee of €11 is required, except for residents of the Iberian Peninsula. Number 3. Prince's Palace of Monaco, Monaco. The Grimaldis' occupation of their palace is unusual because, unlike other European ruling families, the absence of alternative palaces and land shortages have resulted in their use of the same residence for more than 7 centuries. Thus, their fortunes and their politics are directly reflected in the evolution of the palace. Whereas the Romanovs, Bourbons, and Habsburgs could, and frequently did, build completely new palaces, the most the Grimaldis could achieve when enjoying good fortune or desirous of change was to build a new tower or wing, or as they did more frequently, rebuild an existing part of the palace. Thus, the Prince's Palace reflects the history not only of Monaco, but of the family which in 1997 celebrated 700 years of rule from the same palace. Number 4. The Royal Palace of Brussels, Belgium. The Royal Palace of Belgium is one of the most beautiful official buildings in the capital, Brussels. Standing opposite the Parliament building on the other side of the Royal Park, the Royal Palace symbolizes our system of government, and that is to say, a constitutional monarchy. The palace is the place where His Majesty the King exercises his prerogative as head of state. It is at the palace that the king grants audiences and deals with affairs of state. Number 5. The Royal Palace of Stockholm, Sweden. The Royal Palace of Stockholm is His Majesty the King's official residence and is also the setting for most of the monarchy's official receptions. The palace is a daily place of work for the king and queen, as well as for the various departments that make up the royal court. This combination of royal residence, workplace, and cultural historical monument, open year-round to visitors, makes the Royal Palace of Stockholm unique among Europe's royal residents. The palace is built in Baroque style by the architect Nicodemus Tessin and is formed as a Roman palace. The palace has more than 600 rooms divided between 7 floors, with a state apartment facing the city and smaller living rooms facing the inner courtyard. Number 6. The Royal Palace of Oslo, Norway. The Royal Palace, Norwegian, Slotteter, formerly Norwegian, in Oslo was built in the first half of the 19th century as the Norwegian residence of King Charles III, who also reigned as King of Sweden and otherwise resided there, and is the official resident of the present Norwegian monarch. The Crown Prince resides at Skaugum in Asker, west of Oslo. The palace has 173 rooms. Number 7. Vaduz Castle, Liechtenstein. Vaduz Castle is the palace and official residence of the Prince of Liechtenstein. The castle gave its name to the town of Vaduz, the capital of Liechtenstein, which it overlooks from an adjacent hilltop. The castle underwent a major restoration between 1905 and 1920, and then again in the early 1920s during the reign of Prince Johann II, and was expanded during the 1930s by Prince Franz Joseph II. Since 1938, the castle has been the primary residence of Liechtenstein's princely family. The castle is not open to the public as the princely family still lives in the castle. Number 8. Grand Ducal Palace of Luxembourg. The Grand Ducal Palace is a palace in Luxembourg City, in southern Luxembourg. It is the official residence of the Grand Duke of Luxembourg and where he performs most of his duty as head of state of the Grand Dukery. As the official residence of the Grand Duke, the palace is used by him in the exercise of his official functions. He and the Grand Duchess, together with their staff, have their offices at the palace, and the staterooms on the first floor are used for a variety of meetings and audiences. On Christmas Eve, the Grand Duke's Christmas message is broadcast from the Yellow Room. Number 9. Windsor Castle, United Kingdom. Windsor Castle is the oldest and largest occupied castle in the world and is the official residency of Her Majesty the Queen. Its rich history spans almost 1,000 years. Castle covers an area of about 5 hectares, 13 acres, and contains magnificent state apartments furnished with treasures from the royal collection. St. George's Chapel, one of the most beautiful ecclesiastical buildings in England, and the burial place of 10 monarchs. Queen Mary's Dollhouse, a masterpiece in miniature. Number 10. The Royal Palace of Amsterdam, the Netherlands. The Royal Palace of Amsterdam, Dutch, Koninklijke Paleis Amsterdam, or Paleis Amsterdam, is one of 3 palaces in the Netherlands which are at the disposal of the monarch by Act of Parliament. The palace was built as a city hall during the Dutch Golden Age in the 17th century. The building became the royal palace of King Louis Napoleon and later of the Dutch royal house. It is situated on the west side of Dam Square, in the center of Amsterdam, opposite the War Memorial and next to the Nieuwe Kerk. Thanks for watching till the end. Kindly subscribe to the channel and click the bell button to keep yourself updated with all of our future amazing videos.